Hello Voxel fans! In this video, we're going to continue the mega build of Gigantzard, starting with the sculpting out of the details of his head. Check out the previous video if you'd like to see how I started the process by blocking out a 20 voxel tall figure and then scaling him up to be 1000 voxels tall. This video is sponsored by the Sandbox Creator Fund, which pays voxel artists to create assets like Gigantzard for the upcoming voxel art marketplace. Visit sandbox.game to learn more, or check out the official Discord in the description. So with the head all blocked out, I go in with the voxel tool, and I turn on the X-axis to let me sculpt through the entire object all at once. This way I can quickly create some curves and start refining the shape of the head. You'll also see me changing the angle a lot. It's kind of a bad habit of mine, actually, is constantly changing the camera angle. It's probably a little obnoxious for people watching, but for me it helps to get a real sense of the shape of things, make sure that I'm happy with the way things look from multiple angles since there's no split view in MagicaVoxel. So now I've got a nice big eyeball in there. Now I do actually, even though it's a little goofy to have it as a big sphere like this, there is actually a specific reason why I do this. And it's so that way when the character is facing from the front, you can actually still see the eye. Because if it was flat against the head and looking from the front, the eye wouldn't be visible at all. I had been working in ortho mode most of this time. I switched over to perspective because when you're looking inside of holes like this, it's actually easier to see the inside in perspective mode. And I could make a pattern brush for this, but because the shape of the mouth widens towards the back and also raises up, kind of changes the exact shape of the teeth around, so it wouldn't really save me a lot of time to make that pattern brush in this particular case. I'm using the paint tool in face mode to bring the blue all the way up through the head, so that way I can line everything up with the ridges even as I'm sculpting through it. And then I can just change the blue color back when I'm done. So here I'm using a little masking trick. I want to paint the green roof of the mouth to be red. So I select all the green and then I invert it so that way the teeth aren't affected when I use a wide voxel brush to just paint the roof of the mouth. That voxel brush in 3D is really helpful for painting in all these ridges. Otherwise, I'd have to go in with the face tool or maybe the box tool, and it would just be a lot of clicking back and forth and missing spots and going back in and doing them. So the voxel brush is really the fastest way to paint over an uneven surface like this. Now I have to start making some decisions as to the the shape of the jaw and the placement of the lower portion of the mouth. You can see there's a lot of Z fighting going on with the side of the jaw there. That is something that I try to minimize even while I'm still building a MagicaVoxel, but it's pretty easy to fix once this all goes into VoxEdit just by some minor scaling to keep the flat surfaces from overlapping perfectly. But I do make some considerations for that Z fighting as I'm doing the jaw. And so this area where the lips for the upper lip and lower lip connect, I do go back and revise that several times through this whole process, just because it's a very complicated interaction between the shapes when the jaw moves, and I want it to look as natural as possible. So because I can't animate at this stage, exactly how well these things line up is not quite determined yet. So once this goes into VoxEdit, I may end up going back in and refining the lips a little bit to line up more nicely once I can test the actual motion of the jaw. when doing an organic figure like this is where a lot of my time gets spent, is in the rounding of the edges and smoothing things out so they have sort of a natural flow from one space to another. So that bit of connective tissue in the mouth there kind of adds another layer of complexity to that lip area. And this bouncing up and down of the jaw is only helpful so much, because it's really not the way the mouth is going to move in the character, because it's going to hinge and rotate. So it's just kind of I'm more playing with like maximum open and closed positions to sort of get a feel for how much extra voxels, how many extra voxels I need stretching up into the head on that connective tissue. All right, and with that lip refinement, that's most of the sculpting going on for the mouth. I do a little bit more on this in the next video, but I think we're gonna stop it here. And the next thing we'll be working on is the eye ridges and the spikes going down the head and the neck. Thank you for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when I upload the next session.